I think we can all agree here that Caillou is a show that no one really liked. I mean, it's one of those shows that people watch, but you just hate it all the way through. Caillou is just such an unlikable character that way, you know? And it's very obvious why there are so many Go Anime grounded feels, because people generally really do just hate this character. But what if I tell you there was an episode that made you feel bad about it? Sounds crazy and unbelievable, but this story will tell you otherwise. So sit down, relax, and make sure to ground Caillou for his misdoings, because today we'll be taking a look at the story of Caillou Says Goodbye to Gilbert. I want to tell you about an episode of Caillou that I saw once. My cat was put down a few years ago, and I want to tell you an episode of this very infamous kid show that was very similar to what I had experienced. I was in my room playing on my DS. The year was 2009. My cat was put down the other day, and it was summer vacation, and after summer, I would be in 7th grade. I was so fixated on my DSi, my mom told me that it was almost midnight, and that I had to go to bed. The house we lived in at the time only had 2 bedrooms, and that meant I had to share a room with my brother who was only 4 years old at the time. And I always used to wear headphones while playing quietly. We had to keep the TV on Sprout for some time to get him to sleep. He likes Sprout. He liked the show Caillou, and I honestly hated it. During Sprout's Goodnight show, I saw the Caillou intro playing. The title card, however, was different when the theme song ended. This was a season 4 episode of Caillou, and he had more maturity than previous seasons. I remember everything, even my thoughts revolving around my head. The title card read, Caillou Says Goodbye to Gilbert. There was no image for the title card like the other episodes. It was just text. The screen faded to Caillou's house. The sky was dark and gray. The house was different. It had no front porch and the windows were boarded up. The color of the house was purple instead of blue. The chimney was also rolled down and had no top. I kept watching because I couldn't sleep anyways. Then I heard the nail whistle. It is a very depressing day at Caillou's house. I don't want to talk about it, she said in a very depressed tone. I never seen the narrator this depressed before. And then cut to Caillou softly crying in his playroom. He never cried in season 4. I did my research. Caillou then said in a sad voice, Gilbert, why did you have to go? We were best friends. I was afraid that this type of show was talking about pets dying. Caillou's parents were talking in the kitchen about Gilbert. Caillou's mom said, It's sad that we have to put him down today. I just don't want anything to happen to him when we're on vacation to New York. You told me this so many times, I want to scream. Caillou's dad said, frustrated. What about Caillou? Caillou's mom then responded, Well, he'll be sad, but we had to do this anyway. He does have a kidney failure, you know. Caillou's dad responded, Well, I hate that he keeps going into the bathroom. He's lost it, Boris. He can't help it, Caillou's mom said. Caillou's dad sighed. I know, Doris. I'm mostly concentrated on Caillou. I wonder how he's doing. I'll go check on him. Boris walks into the playroom, where we see that Caillou is crying and Rosie is playing with her dogs. Di walks over to Caillou. Daddy? Caillou said. Why does Gilbert need to go to sleep forever? His dad responded, He's sick, Caillou. When we go, Grandma will babysit you and Rosie. Caillou then snapped, I'm not staying here. Gilbert's my best friend. He can't die without me there beside him. I couldn't believe I just saw. Caillou was never like this in these episodes. Caillou then paused for a moment before speaking. Do you really want to be there? Caillou quickly answered, Yes, I don't care if I get scared. I love him. Caillou's dad then said, Okay, Caillou, calm down. I hope you know this is too grown up for you. Do you understand? Yes, Daddy, Caillou said. Okay, let's get to the car, Caillou's dad said. I was speechless. I watched the West anyway because I was very curious of what would happen next. The episode then showed Grandma going into the house, and Caillou, Mommy, Daddy, and Gilbert go to the car, with Dad driving. This scene was silent and boring. After 12 seconds of driving in the car, Caillou had a flashback. It showed Caillou as a 2-year-old with the season 1 animation. He was with Gilbert and Caillou looked happy. I love you, Gilbert, young Caillou said. You're the best. Gilbert simply meowed at this response. As Caillou pets Gilbert, Gilbert lets Caillou in a throat for love. The screen then fades to white, and Caillou, his parents, and Gilbert are in a green room with a white couch. Gilbert has a banner around one of his paws. Then the doctor walked in. Hello, I'm the doctor. I heard that Gilbert had a kidney failure. First, we will give Gilbert saline. Then, we will give him the medicine that makes him pass away. Caillou then shouted, No, he's not dying! Caillou's dad then said angrily at Caillou, Caillou, cut it out. I told you that we have to do this. Caillou responded angrily, I'm not letting him go. Caillou, Caillou's mom said, Stop it now. Listen to your father. Caillou said, defeated, Okay, let him die. I don't care. I watched in shock as the saline was injected. Here's the shot that puts him to sleep, the doctor then said. The second injection was even worse. I was nauseated by this, cartoon or not. Caillou then fucking lost it. He was crying uncontrollably as Gilbert's soon-to-be death. The doctor checked him with her stethoscope. Well, that's it, the doctor said. He's gone. The deed is done. Mom, Dad, and Caillou were all crying their eyes out. You were my best friend, Gilbert, Caillou screamed. The screen faded to white, but this wasn't a flashback. Caillou was with Gilbert in a white room with no walls. The room then turned dark. Suddenly, Gilbert faded into nothing. Gilbert! Caillou yelled. Where is he? He's gone! Caillou started to walk in a straight motion. However, this scene looked more like a flash animation on Newgrounds than compared to the show's regular animation. This went on for a minute, with violin music playing in the background. This stopped when Caillou was pale and was almost scared to film. Gilbert, Caillou said, this time his voice raspy and sore. The screen faded to Gilbert on a cloud, sleeping. A soft, heavenly voice is then heard chuckling in the background. The screen faded to black, with Caillou crying in the background. It faded back with Caillou in a hospital. He was pale and looked like he was going to die. Caillou, you're too young to die, Caillou's mom said. You're only 7. Caillou was 7 now? Well, I guess it was 3 years after Gilbert's death. We love you, Caillou, no matter what, Caillou's dad said with tears in his eyes. I know, Caillou weakly said. I hope I will see Gilbert soon. Caillou, I love you, Rosie said. Caillou? Caillou's mom said. Caillou responded, Yes, Mommy. You're What, Mom? Adopted! Caillou's mom yelled. What? I'm adopted? Caillou said in confusion. Yes, it's true. We adopted you from an orphanage, Caillou's dad said. You were a baby born with cancer. We couldn't bear to see you suffer with our home, so we just had to adopt you. Thank you, Caillou said weakly. Caillou then closed his eyes and stopped breathing. Mommy, Daddy, and Rosie were all crying extremely hard. I actually felt sorry for them. The episode ended with the thought of them crying. The credits roared silently, and they weren't that fun to watch either. It was just white text scrolling in the background. I only recognized the name of half of the people in the credits. The other half were people that I've never heard of before. The copyright date was 2005, the same year that season 4 came out. The screen then abruptly turned to static. After that, the regular schedule came on after the episode. The next day, I woke up and heard my brother had separated. My dad had to stay home for work that day. I spent the day, with my dad's permission, to go on the computer and contact Sprout about it. Remember, it was 2009, so I contacted PBS Kids and PBS as well. NBC Universal bought Sprout in 2013. All three have no clue what I was talking about, unfortunately. With that, I just gave up and returned to my normal life. I'm still traumatized by that episode, but not much as I was before when I was a kid. I did some weeklies on Caillou as well, but now I don't because I just gave up. Well, that pretty much sums up my story. If you ever seen this episode before, please let me know. I just want to have answers to what I saw that fateful day in 2009.